What's up, what's up? So I got a story for you guys today. This was actually a request. It was to do a story on the first time I ever got suspended from school. Had to think about it, but I remember. Start a little side note. This story is also going to be on my YouTube channel. I'm going to put all the information at the end. So subscribe, leave comments of new stories and all that good stuff that you guys want me to do, okay? So I was in the 7th grade and I went to Boone Middle School. If you are from Florida and you lived in Haines City, you know how Boone Middle School is. Boone Middle School, you also know about Haines City High School. Those two schools, I mean, I don't know how they are now, but back in my days, those were the two ratchet schools ever. Ratchet, I mean that there was always a fight. And it wasn't just like a regular fight. I mean, when people fought in that school, they really fought. When I used to go to school, this was back when I used to be like really into church. You know, I had like really long skirts. I mean, I had a Bible in my book bag. You know, I was really a church girl in school. That is that I didn't bother anyone. I was actually a pretty good person at school. Like, I was a good student. You know, the only bad thing about me is that I was a class clown. For the most part, I was everybody's friend. I was always up to something. I was always making people laugh. And I kept to myself. I didn't really ever get into trouble. I'm really trying to make this a racial story, so please don't go crazy on comments trying to make this, you know, all about race, because that's not what I'm about. I'm just trying to explain to you guys how I grew up in school. Going to Boone Middle School or even Haines City High School, you guys know that there was a big like war like against Puerto Ricans and Mexicans against Puerto Ricans, like black against white, white against black. I mean, and if, you know, growing up, if you hung out with a different race that wasn't your own, you actually got in trouble for that. Bad. Like, I would literally just be walking down the hall and I would get pushed and stuff like that because my friends were like, why are you hanging out with those Mexicans? Why are you hanging out with that black girl? And I was like, what's wrong with you guys? Bring all that race part into the story because I didn't just want to randomly be like, oh, so I got suspended from school because this black guy, and I didn't want you guys to be like, oh, why he had to be black. I was in 7th grade and I was in agriculture class. I don't even think that subject exists anywhere else, but it's Haines City. They probably wanted us to raise bunnies and stuff like that. Every day, guys, you don't understand, every day, this boy would pick on me every day in class. Bullies come in all races, shapes, and sizes. I just always thought that if you're going to be a boy bully, you were just going to be a bully to the boys, not to the girls too. For whatever reason, I had a boy bully and I had a black boy bully because he was bullying me because I was Puerto Rican. When y'all went to school and you had a trapper keeper and you were like really cool because you had one of those, okay, every day he messed with my trapper keeper. Get up and sharpen his pencil, and then every time he walked back by my desk, I always had my trapper keeper open, and this is what he did. My trapper keeper, right? So I always had it open and he would come by my desk and he would do this and then he would throw it on the floor. And guys, he did that every day. And I remember going home because, you know, I was a church girl. I would pray like, God, why does he do that? Every day he does that. Days where I didn't have my trapper keeper open, if I had it just laying there, he would still walk by and just off my desk. And I'm like, dude, every day. Church girl or not, you know, I am a human, and that ended up really bothering me. And one day I was like, I'm going to stand up to this guy. I was like, the next time he does this, I'm going to stand up to him. I'm just going to tell him to stop. So the next day he goes and he does it again. First thing y'all should know about me, I'm a chicken. I don't fight. I hate it. I hate confrontation. So he threw it on the floor and I'm like, hey, stop that. Of course, me sounding like that, he was like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And I'm like, can you just please stop doing that? You do that every day. What are you going to do? You ain't going to do nothing. You're a girl and you're a spick. Sorry for the word, but that's what he called me. And I'm like, I didn't really care that he called me that. I was just mad because I just wanted him to get out of my face. Like, I didn't think this was going to turn into this fight. So he's like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Then he does this. These really long fingers. And I always pick on my friends and they have long fingers and I always call them ET fingers. Anyways, he takes his ET phone home finger and he puts it right here and he goes like that. My father has never encouraged me to fight or anything like that, but my father has always taught me to defend myself. And he told me to never ever let anybody put their hands on my face. When that guy did that, I really had like a Kevin Hart moment. It was like, my father told me to tell you to mind your... When he did that, I thought to myself, hey, you know what? Biggie, you need to defend yourself because your father taught you never to let anybody touch you in the face. I thought that I was going to be like this big bad person, so I made a fist, right? And I made a fist and I went right to sock him in the face. The problem was that I made a fist, but I didn't really like, you know, aim it towards his face. I made a fist and I kind of took it back and just like slapped him. Kind of like slapped him or punched him. I don't know, but it was just like this. Like, that's how, I don't know how to fight, so this is how it hit him. I'm thinking, okay, I hit him. I kind of stood up for myself. He's probably going to stop because he's like, oh man, I didn't think she was going to hit me back, you know? was Boone Middle School, and I forget that at Boone Middle School, it doesn't matter what race you are. If you're a boy, you were just taught to fight girls. Seriously, guys, I genuinely thought that he was gonna leave me alone. He made a fist, and he hits me right back, and he hits me in the jaw, and I fall on my desk. Hit me, that's not what hurt. The punch, I mean, it hurt, but that's not what hurt. I was just like, you're a boy. Like, why is a boy hitting a girl? Doc alone was like, Biggie, you're in a fight. Like, you're gonna have to defend yourself because he wants to fight right now. Clearly, I couldn't punch him back because you already saw the decent punch that I hit him with. So I did what anybody else would have done. I like this chair behind me, you know, the one that I was sitting on. I grabbed that chair and I came back with a vengeance. If the people that follow me on Snapchat were in that class with me, but everyone freaked out because I grabbed the chair and I went, ah! And I threw it on him. Another dramatization. When I picked up the chair and I threw it at him, this part of the chair right here, it hit him right in the nose. I was just so mad. I missed the first punch, but I don't know. I just had better aim with that chair in my hand. You know, you guys think that that part is over? No. When I hit him with the chair, he knocked out. He fell on the floor. He fell to the floor. I was still full of anger. You know what I mean? Like from everything. Every day, this kid just always messed with me. So y'all remember the movie Christmas Story? This kid is laying on the ground. I sat on him and I'm like, ah, boom, boom. And I'm punching left and right. I didn't miss. And the whole class is like, oh, like, I mean, y'all know how, like, middle school, when you fall, how everybody did that. The teacher grabs me and he's like, Miss Reyes. I'm like, I wanted to kill him. And guys, everyone was in shock. Like, everyone was like, he got beat up by a girl. I'm alone after that. Not only did he get beat up by a girl, he got beat up by a Puerto Rican girl. A Puerto Rican church girl. I got called to the principal's office, blah, 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 blah. And I got suspended. I got suspended for 3 days. So I get home and I am scared to death because I don't want to face my father. Like, wait a minute, but Papi told me that if anybody ever touches me in the face, I could just defend myself. So I'm like, you know what? Papi's not going to be mad. He's going to be okay with this. It's like, vete habla con tu padre y cuéntale lo que le pasó. So I told my dad what happened, and my dad is so mad. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Yo no te enseñé esas poca vergüenza. Yo no puedo creer que mi hija está peleando en la escuela. Da-da-da-da. You're grounded. And I'm like, you told me that if anybody ever touches my face, just like, all right, so I defended myself just like you told me. I get suspended from school, and then now at home, I'm grounded for 7 days. No TV, no music. To this day, I'm still a little confused about that. Like, you told me to defend myself, but then I get grounded. It's just like, no, I don't get it. I think that my dad was going to be like mad. I mean, I thought that maybe he would have been proud that I kicked the boy's butt, but no, he grounded me. I ended up talking to my dad about this, and he told me, he's like, listen, he's like, of course I was happy that you defended yourself, and even more happy that you kicked the boy's butt. At the end of the day, I am your father, and I just didn't want to encourage you to fight. He's like, I couldn't just not ground you because I needed for you to know, to understand that, yes, it was okay to defend myself, but if he didn't ground me, he would have thought that I was now going to turn into this fighter. Like, well, I'm going to defend myself and not get grounded. He just wanted to teach me that fighting is not going to always resolve everything. So while I did defend myself, I still needed to be punished for that. I think that was very good parenting because it worked. I never fought again. I always thought like, no, I'm not going to fight because if I fight you, you're just going to get me in trouble. So it's not even worth it. I would just walk away. Ended up walking away from a lot of fights later on. But after that fight, it was a long time before anybody picked on me. So because I was a church girl, I really thought that it was going to mess up my testimony. And my dad mentioned that. He's like, oh, tú vas a dañar el testimonio tuyo en la escuela. To school, I was like, you know what? Watch me talk about God. And people are going to be like, well, you didn't turn the other cheek. Da, 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 da. So I really thought like, oh my God, people are not going to respect me anymore. It's all on the contrary. Like, people understood. They were like, yo, you're a good girl. Like, it was about time you defended yourself. Like, that dude messed with you every day. Actually in shock, but it didn't mess up my testimony. Like, people just, honestly, for whatever reason, they respected me even more only because I just stood up to him. He was really, really tall. So he was like the Goliath in my middle school. I was little David and he was Goliath, and I defeated him. Update you, I ran into him years later when I used to work at Metro PCS. I took his bill payment and he still had the scar here. Metro PCS Haines City. So I used to run into my school friends all the time. And one of my school friends told my sister, oh yeah, I would never mess with Abby. I still remember her beating up that boy in that class. You guys go. That is the first time I got suspended from school because of a fight that I actually won. But yeah, I will never do it again because I'll probably get beat up now. Part of the story is don't be a bully. If you're doing that, stop being a bully because one day you're going to mess with the wrong kid. You're going to mess with the wrong girl that's going to beat you up.